Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Dave.
And this is Nfgeeks.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. And we're going to be continuing to talk about what we were talking about in the last video, which is about peace of mind. And this really came out of a question that was given to us by...
House on the Lake.
House on the Lake. I don't know why I can't remember that, Dave. And the question was, how attuned are we to our emotional stability and peace of mind? And so Dave was saying that he is attuned to his peace of mind as an INFJ more so than his emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And why do you think that is?
I think because everything's focused inward, like my energy. So therefore, I can. I'm mostly calm inside of me, and I don't necessarily have to reach out to external forces to depend on a state of mind, because my primary state of mind is within me. So I feel that even I don't need to know what's going on around me, because I could just recede inward. So I find that and that's true. I don't need to like determine how I'm going to feel or how I'm going to do, because I always have that to rely on. I always have my receding nature to rely on. Whereas you, I think, because you're an extrovert, you have to rely on external things to have that peace, to have that calmness, perhaps, and that's why you know how you're going to react in certain situations. That way you can deal with it and have like some kind of equilibrium.
Sure. In fact, let me expand on it as an ENFP, and I know this is true about other ENFPs, and it's probably true about all the extroverts to some degree, but I know it's true about all ENFPs. We hate to be alone. Being alone is miserable. You know, it's very, very miserable. Under any context, you know, it's miserable. And I find that my peace of mind is always off when I'm alone for long periods of time. As opposed to when I'm interacting with others, and you know, when I'm doing things, it's actually fairly in tune, and there's no problems. But when I'm alone, and obviously, you know, I'm being general here. Obviously, I can be alone and be fine. But I find when I'm alone for a long time. So, for example, in between the semesters, by the time the next semester comes around, I'm ready to go back. Right. I'm really ready to go back. I'm excited to go back. I'm gonna have fun. My energy is up. I've had enough of being alone, you know. So I think you're right. I think the extroversion is involved with my peace of mind, because when I'm in more lonely situation, it's my peace of mind is way off.
Right.
You know, way off. If I'm alone for a long time, certainly. I mean, you know, I could be alone for a day or a night or a week or whatever. It's not, you know, we're not crazy. But I think any kind of long loneliness really affects ENFPs, and this is true about every ENFP I've ever met and known, which I've either heard them talk about it or just sort of witnessed it. But the issue, I think, and this is true maybe about other E's too, so for E's and any of the other types have something to say about this. But I know as an ENFP, it's really tough because I have all this energy going out, and if I'm all alone, it's like it's going into an abyss.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just going into nothing, and it can't just go to nothing. You know, there has to be some sort of social thing going around that the energy can go to. I know a lot of my ENFPs fill up their time a lot when they're alone. They try to fill it up with all sorts of activities, social activities and things, to make sure they're not alone for any long period of time. You know.
See, that would drive me crazy.
Having this day-long itinerary of being with people and meeting with people and talking to people.
Yes. It was when I went to Washington that time for College Democrats, we always had these. The whole day was dedicated to social interaction, stuff like that. I had to.
An INFJ nightmare. What happened?
I got exhausted.
Oh, you must have got exhausted early.
Really early, but I kept going, and then I got even more exhausted to the point where I had to walk back to our hotel room, and take a nap. And like our friend, who I went with, I pretty much just
Dan, you can tell them, they know.
Dan, yes. Dan, who I went with, I
an
pretty
ENFJ.
much just sent him a text, and I'm like, Call me when you get out of the meeting. I really have to, rest a bit, and then I just passed out on the bed for a good hour. So yeah, social interaction is exhausting for me.
Do you find social interactions impact more your stability, your emotional stability, or your peace of mind?
Um, I think my emotional stability, uh, because my peace of mind's always there. My calm center is always there. That's always something I can rely on that. Always. It's mostly my emotions would be affected. I become more, say, apathetic and irritable the more social interaction, prolonged social interaction I have. Like, if I'm constantly meeting new people, constantly having to spark new conversations like I did that day, I'll get completely exhausted. And to the point where I know it's just like, okay, I kind of need some alone time, and I have to just, um, and I end up just receding back into that calm center and just not really wanting to talk to anybody. I'll be in the background and have, like, say, Dan do all the talking for me because I'm just so tired that I have no energy to continue a conversation. So, yeah, calm center is always there. I find.
Oh, wow. I find that my emotional stability is often, it's kind of strange. I don't, again, it's been a long time since I've been emotionally stable, I think. But I find that it's more stable when it's flowing. Again, it's a much more ENFP thing.
Yeah.
But I find that when it's flowing and it's moving and it's interacting, it's more stable than when it's still. Somehow when it's sitting still, it feels less stable.
Yeah.
You would think it would be the opposite, but maybe it's being an ENFP. I don't find that it feels stable when it's not doing anything.
Yeah.
And again, I need that social interaction. When there's a flow going, some sort of interchange going on, it becomes more. If I'm part of a stable system of emotions, it becomes stable. I find, certainly.
Interesting.
Yeah. Do you find that your peace of mind? Well, what breaks your peace of mind? What specifically has been breaking your peace of mind as of late, or what things come in and break it?
I'd say it's hard to explain, because it doesn't. I'm not necessarily mindful of the exact point at when it breaks, you know. Um, but like what? Oh, like for the example, when I was in DC and I was getting tired and stuff like that, that was a steady being exhausted from all that people meeting. So I fell back on that. But when something, I have to say, when something like really just hits me, and it disturbs that it automatically like my energy just goes out to like push whatever's like intruding away. So it's kind of like an instantaneous push. So I don't necessarily know exactly what would cause it, because it's been like multiple things. It's just been like people who seem to um, be been downing like my opinions and stuff like that lately have been what's been aggravating me the most. Is what's been breaking my calm center. And that seems to be the main common denominator as of recently. I don't particularly know why, but
Oh, those are the important, courageous questions to ask, though, Dave.
Yeah.
Why? Well, do you find that your peace of mind is thrown off by any kind of any kind of big issue or humanitarian cause or any kind of major issue that you deeply believe in? I ask because INFJs usually have some sort of cause for a greater humanity that they're interested in, or they take, not necessarily they take up the banner for, but they have a strong belief in that comes from I think that their J side.
Yeah, I mean, that happens a lot with me. Like, someone will say, I'm not going to get into the issues now, of course.
Well, no, what issue? That's what I wanted to know. Like, can you pick one that's an example?
Well, there's, the whole Tibet situation and the whole, like, genocide in Darfur and the whole African just issues and stuff like that, where it's just like people just say, well, we can't help the whole world. We're not like the world police and stuff like that. And it's just like, well, if we didn't do this as a country, if we didn't, try to, like, topple Iran when... I'm just not going to try to get into the whole details. My calm center is being disturbed.
Great, just by visualizing. See, that's visualizing.
Yeah, that's
you're visualizing the argument, and you're already, like, in the argument.
Because it's just, like, the sheer, like... apathetic attitude towards the whole thing, and it's just like, no, that's not how it goes. It's just like, if we focus more energy on this, we can easily, help out. We can easily, but really we don't have anything to gain.
Does that mean that apathy throws off your peace of mind?
Perhaps.
Okay.
Perhaps apathy throws off my peace of mind.
What is the relationship between your peace of mind and emotional stability? Does your emotional stability create the peace of mind, or is the peace of mind creating the emotional stability?
The peace of mind is creating the emotional stability. And when it's upset, it's like spinning. So usually it's calm and it's not doing anything, but then it's like when a current starts to go, and it gains. It's when it starts to gain momentum is when it starts to become dangerous. I find that's when I start to outwardly just like I guess attack in not trying to, at a loss for words.
No, I understand, and I think also your observation about extroversion is correct, because I find that my peace of mind is a result of my emotional stability, and my lack of peace of mind is a result of my emotional instability, and it's not the reverse. I can't achieve any peace of mind without creating any kind of emotional stability first. Right. Therefore, my peace of mind is dependent on the emotional stability.
Yeah, mine's the opposite.
Yeah, so, and therefore, I think because of that, I think it runs in the opposite direction too. I don't find that I outwardly attack, but I do certainly inwardly loathe, and become depressed and all that. It's much more of an inward thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's because my feelings as an ENFP, and maybe this is true about you, I mean, because it's running in the opposite direction, my feelings as an ENFP run inward. Your feelings as an INFJ are actually extroverted, they run outward. Your intuition is running inward, but your feelings are actually running outward.
Yeah.
So when you're mad at somebody, that's your laser beam, your feelings are going out.
Yeah.
Mine doesn't necessarily do that. My feelings sort of go inward, and I don't necessarily hate people or hate hate somebody for a cause, but I'll hate myself, or I'll just hate how I'm feeling, or hate whatever's going on with me. Hate my internal world. It runs in that direction. All right. So I think we've answered this question pretty fully. I'd like to hear how the other, certainly how the other NFs feel about emotional stability and peace of mind. I honestly think the NF that has the hardest time with emotional stability is the INFP.
Yeah.
I think they have the hardest time. Their feelings run pretty strongly and inwardly, and they're easily hurt. And I think the INFP has the hardest time with it, the strongest struggle. And that's not a criticism. I feel very bad for the INFPs, but I think they have the hardest of the four of us. I think they have the hardest controlling that emotional stability.
Right.
I think the ENFJs then I would hypothesize have the hardest time with peace of mind.
Possibly that would make sense. But
Yeah. But we'll
few
see.
people I know. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so that's it, Dave. We're at the end.
All right. I'm Dave.
And I'm Mike.
And we're the NF Geeks.